Good morning, fifth grade. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, and we are going to be doing math class. To be prepared for this video, you need to have paper and a writing utensil ready to use, and you need to have opened up your math packet for Wednesday, May 27th, and I'll show you how to find it. If you're in the fifth grade distance learning folder, you'll click on week 11, then you'll click on math class, and you'll open up today's lesson for Wednesday, May 27th. Go ahead and get your materials together and come back to the video when you're ready. So before we start on today's problem-solving task, we're going to go over a question from yesterday's math exit ticket. Yesterday, a question that was missed most was the following. It said to write an expression to match the situation. The quotient of 93 and 3 subtracted from the product of 13 and 14. Here, most people messed up the order of the two groups. So we know that two sets of operations were happening and they were both in parentheses. 93 divided by 3 and 13 divided by 14. 13 times 14. When it says the quotient of 93 and 3 subtracted from the product of 13 and 14, that means that you are starting with the product of 13 and 14 and subtracting the quotient of 93 and 3 away from it. So whenever you see that something is being subtracted from another amount, the thing that is being subtracted has to come second because it's being subtracted from what you started with. So here, the correct expression was parentheses 13 times 14, close parentheses, minus parentheses 93 divided by 3, close parentheses. As you are writing expressions to match situations, make sure that you are carefully paying attention to the keywords so that you get the order correct. For today's problem-solving task, you're going to go ahead and do numbers 1 and 2. And they are practicing exactly what we just talked about, writing expressions from phrases. So go ahead and do numbers 1 and 2, write the expression that matches, and then solve it. You're back in this video if you've already solved numbers 1 and 2. If you haven't, go ahead and do that on your own. For number 1, it says 8 divided by the difference of 9 and 7 plus 6 times 4. So here, I know that 8 is being divided by a group that's in parentheses because it says divided by the difference of, and those are words that show us order. So it's being divided by the difference of 9 and 7. So I'm going to make sure that 9 and 7 are in parentheses. And then I see the word plus, which tells me that we are going to be doing addition. And then I see the word times, which tells me that we would be doing multiplication. So based on those keywords, I know the operations that are going to be happening in my expression. And I have to write an expression that matches. So an expression that matches this would be 8 divided by parentheses 9 minus 7, close parentheses, plus 6 times 4. Remember, 9 minus 7 is in parentheses because the words that were used show us order. It shows us that before we can divide 8, we need to know the difference of 9 and 7. While 6 and 4 are not in parentheses because it does not say plus the product of 6 and 4. It just says plus 6 times 4. And those words do not show us order. So to solve, we would first do 9 minus 7 to get 2, and then rewrite everything else because that's in parentheses, so that's what we solve first. Next, I have no more parentheses, so I know that I'm going to look for multiplication and division first. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and I'll copy everything else. Next, I have 6 times 4 is 24. Copy everything else. And last, 4 plus 24 equals 28. For number 2, it says 7 more than 8 times 4 minus the product of 2 and 6. So first, let's look for the words that tell us operations. More than tells us we'll be doing addition. Times tells us we'll be doing multiplication. Minus tells us that we're doing subtraction. And product of tells us multiplication. Now let's look for order words that tell us where we will be using parentheses. 7 more than 8 times 4 minus the product of 2 and 6. The words the product of show order, so I know that there are going to be parentheses around 2 and 6. The expression that matches is 7 plus 8 times 4 minus parentheses 2 times 6. 8 times 4 is not in parentheses because our phrase does not use order words. It does not say the product of 8 and 4. It just says 8 times 4. So therefore, you did not need parentheses there. Our first step is to solve what's in the parentheses. 2 times 6 is 12. You copy everything else. Now that we have no more parentheses, we're going to work from left to right, and we're going to look for multiplication and division first, because those have more power. So 8 times 4 is 32, and I copy everything else. Next, we only have addition and subtraction left, so we just work from left to right. 7 plus 32 is 39. And in our last step, 39 minus 12 is 27. So now we're going to take some notes based on what we learned today. Today we learned that parentheses still go first, no matter what operations are involved. We know that multiplication and division are more powerful than addition and subtraction, and therefore they have higher priority, so they should go first. All multiplication and division should be done before moving on to addition and subtraction. Go ahead and copy down your notes for today, Wednesday, May 27th, and then come back to the video when you're ready to do practice problems. Go ahead and try your guided practice problems, and then come back to the video when you're ready to check your work. For number 1, we needed to solve the following expression. We know that there are parentheses here, so we're going to solve what's in the parentheses first. But within the parentheses, there's subtraction and multiplication. Multiplication is more powerful, so we'll do that first. 2 times 3 is 6, so I substitute that in and copy everything else. Next, I finish solving the parentheses and do 7 minus 6 and get 1. Then I copy everything else. Now that I have no more parentheses, I only have addition and multiplication left. Multiplication is more powerful, so I should solve that first. 4 times 1 is 4. My next step, 4 times 2 is 8. And in my last step, 1.5 plus 8 is 9.5. In the next problem, we have parentheses again. In this parentheses, there's addition, multiplication, and subtraction. Multiplication is more powerful, so we'll do that first. 3 times 3 is 9, and I copy everything else. making sure to include the parentheses because I'm not done with it. Now in the parentheses, I only have addition and subtraction. So I just solve from left to right because they have equal power. 2 plus 9 is 11. Copy everything else. 11 minus 3 is 8. Copy everything else. Now I have division, multiplication, and subtraction left, but no parentheses. So I know that I need to look for division and multiplication first. 32 divided by 8 is the first thing that happens, so I need to do that first. That gets me 4. Next, I'll do 4 times 13 to get 52. And last, 52 minus 10 is 42. Now go ahead and try the practice packet independently and come back to the video to check your work when you're done. For numbers 1 and 2, you're going to go, 1 and 4, the first row, you're going to go ahead and check your work against mine, making sure that your work looks similar to mine. You're taking it one step at a time, you're solving and showing all of your work, and that you're ending up with the correct final answer. If you have issues with numbers 1 and 4 in this first row, then you should put a star next to it, and you should check in with your teacher for a conference. We're going to go over the next 2 problems in the second row, numbers 2 and 5. For number 2, we have 2 sets of parentheses here. So we just solve the one that comes first. 19 plus 6 is 25, and I copy everything else. Then I solve the next set of parentheses. 10 plus 3 is 13, and I copy everything else. Next, I only have addition, multiplication, and subtraction with no parentheses. So I should do the multiplication first. 25 times 13 is 325. Now that I only have addition and subtraction left, I solve from left to right. 2 plus 325 is 327. 327 minus 5 is 322. For number 5, there's a set of nested parentheses. So inside of this bigger group of parentheses, I need to solve the one that is inside, which is 11 minus 3. That gets me 8. And then I rewrite everything else. Then I solve 8 times 3 because it's in parentheses and rewrite everything else. Now I have no more parentheses and I have division and addition. I'll solve the first set of division first because division is more powerful than addition. 20 divided by 5 is 4. In my next step, 24 divided by 3 is 8. And last, 4 plus 8 equals 12. For the last row, numbers 3 and 6, go ahead and check your work against mine using the work that you see on the screen. Make sure that you are showing all of your steps, you're showing all of your work, and that you're ending up with the correct final answers. If you are getting final answers that are extremely different because you are solving in the wrong order, make sure that you check in with your teacher. Because if you're solving in the wrong order, you will not be able to do the exit ticket correctly. So you need a conference. If you notice that your mistake is a silly mistake, like a calculation error, make sure that you're working carefully as you're doing your facts so that you don't make silly mistakes that throw off your answer. But if you are very confused on what to do first and how to solve these expressions, make sure to check in with your teacher for a conference. The secret code for today's math quiz is mug, M-U-G, mug, M-U-G. Last, you're going to check your work for numbers 7 and 8 against what I have written on the screen, and we'll do numbers 9 and 10 together. Number 9 says triple the difference of 4 and a number, then add 7. So triple tells me that we're going to be multiplying by 3. Difference tells me that we'll be doing subtraction. Add tells me that we'll be doing addition. The phrase a number tells me that I need to input a variable, so I'm just going to use the variable n. So now let's think about what exactly we're going to be doing. We're tripling a difference, and that difference is between 4 and a number. So I need to have parentheses around 4 and the number. But then I need to show that I'm tripling only that. So I'm going to use a nesting parentheses there. And last, I add 7. So here, I use nested parentheses, and I did 3 times parentheses 4 minus n, close both parentheses, plus 7, showing that this group of nested parentheses has priority, but first you need to do the subtraction, and then you can do the multiplication, and then you will do the addition. For number 10, in 2 years, Jamie will be half as old as Emily is now. Emily is Y years old. How old is Jamie? Well, it tells us that Jamie will be half as old as Emily is now in 2 years. So, in order to get Jamie's age currently, I will need to take Emily's age and divide it by 2. And then I will need to subtract 2 because Jamie is half as old as Emily in 2 more years. So to figure out her age right now, we would take the half of Emily's age and subtract 2 years. So our expression is y divided by 2 minus 2. Now you're going to go ahead and do your exit ticket. As you're doing your exit ticket, make sure that you use your notes and use all of the work that is here in this video to help you so that you can do your best. And if you're not feeling confident and you're not able to solve these problems independently, then you need to check in with your teacher for a conference on the practice problems before you start the exit ticket.